Hello friends, welcome to Dots of Destiny. Om Namah Shivaya. This video is about the transit of Venus into Pisces with Saturn and also the lunar eclipse that is forming just as Venus enters into Pisces on the 3rd of March. So 3rd of March, exactly in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, Ketu and Moon is making a conjunction, and just before that day Venus is getting into Pisces, which is 8th from the sign of Leo. Now see, there are certain things about the month of March. March is a little complicated month with ups and downs, quite it can feel like that one day is really good, another day again it is giving way to something which is very difficult. So that kind of a situation March month can bring. Now the thing is that this Purva Falguni nakshatra is a very prominent nakshatra of Venus. Bharani, even better than Bharani, Purva Falguni, actually even more than Purva Ashada. Purva Falguni is a nakshatra which really gives the creativity of Venus and the luxury of Venus to its heights actually. So Bhaga is the goddess of this nakshatra, Purva Falguni. It is like Bhoga. See, Bhog is always not in the bad way. When we need a little creativity in our life, we have to be a little at the creative best only comes when you are in a relaxed state. Now see, this I will tell you just why I'm telling all this. I'll come to that. Suppose you need to solve something, you will see if your mind is too much clouded, that solving will suddenly not happen. But maybe you're resting and suddenly that idea comes to your mind. That is how Purva Falguni actually gives the result, and it is a nice nakshatra of Leo, no doubt about that. But the thing is that here, when this because last solar eclipse happened in Dhanishta. Dhanishta is a money nakshatra. It is good, primarily Dhan Ishta. Second, now it is this Purva Falguni, which is also a luxury oriented, money oriented nakshatra. I mean, good, monetary wise it is good. I'm not telling Leo is a sign of money. Not that, but monetarily these nakshatras are good nakshatra to have prominent planets over there. Now, when this solar eclipse happened in Dhanishta, many people have already started feeling some kind of stuck energy regarding their finances, which is very natural. Now, after 15 days, when this happens, this lunar eclipse happens in Bhaga, the Purva Falguni nakshatra, and Venus running 8th from that, some kind of change can definitely happen regarding your idea of money, name, fame, luxury, creativity, all these things. Because see, Leo is becoming very intense with Ketu Moon over there, and now as wherever this lunar eclipse is happening, that Lord has gone to 8th into exaltation with Saturn. Now that's why I wanted to make this video taking both these things into account, the lunar eclipse and the repercussions that happens when Venus goes into the 8th house in exaltation with Saturn. For each ascendant definitely I'll talk. Now see, again, Venus exaltation first and foremost should be by now very clear to what it should be expected. Venus is a luxury planet, yes. In Pisces, yes, you have the God's grace. You will see, if you have a Venus in Pisces, money will come sometimes even when it is most needed from unknown sources. And sudden, that is the kripa of that is the blessing of Vishnu, because Pisces is the feet of Vishnu. But the Revati nakshatra, where Venus gets its deepest exaltation, is the last nakshatra. So it is very much a a very wealthy nakshatra, but wealthy with money you can have. There are many billionaires with Revati, but it is also the divinity, the spirituality that dawns in over here. That's why in Revati we do not want malefics like Saturn, Rahu. We do not want here. Ketu is okay, at least it gives a different era, different zone of understanding. But if Rahu Saturn is there in Revati, the essence of Revati is marred actually. Venus does full justice to it. If you have an exalted Venus in your horoscope, you'll see you give to people more than they give to you. Maybe people come and say someday that you're not a very, good money management person, because Venus is very money specific in Virgo, and it monetarily it does good in Virgo. Revati can have money, they may not care about it. They may have money, they may spend also towards people, philanthropy, all these things. So here the essence is not actually about money. Relationships in Revati, it is said in the text that the marriage, Venus is the significator. If it goes to Revati, if both the partners are spiritual or some way heightened in their level of understanding of life, it is better. Otherwise, it is petty. I'll give you an example like in the sense, whenever I have seen this nakshatra, some women can come to your life, especially in the case of man, and can change the understanding of love. Or you have somebody in your life who brings out the spirituality in you. So that kind of you may understand also that certain people in the celebrity zone, you can see now that they are drawn towards more of, though they have lot of money, they are drawn towards the almighty or the bhajan kirtans more, or getting spiritual in some way. So that is what I'm trying to say through Venus exalted. But you know what, when Saturn, last time also it happened in 2025, if I'm not wrong, when Venus entered, Saturn was there. This time also it is the same scenario. I do not like, I have said in many of my videos that Venus Rahu, Venus Saturn, Venus Ketu, these I do not prefer too much in a horoscope. Now, it is not, I'm not saying it is bad, but Venus Saturn has a few qualities. Like, see, Saturn is a hardcore workaholic, and it's a very cold planet. It's an old planet. Now, when the relationship, if you are taking it from a relationship level at this point of time, then definitely there can be a make and break over here, because Pisces is after all surrender. Mercury gets retrograde in the meantime while Venus is in Pisces. From 2nd to 26th of March, Venus is in Pisces, Mercury gets retrograde, and here there can be some, like, the no communication type that can very much happen in this month of March, and that is why, and Mars is with Rahu. So this is not an easy month, that is for sure. Now please don't tell me which is a easy month. Yeah, April can be little bit easier than March month, but I'll tell you why. If you have to check how a month goes, do this and see it works so well. First day of the month, you take the first day, or suppose 1st of March, you see how the arrangement, where the moon is, and arrangement of the planets putting moon on the Lagna. So I saw this, that in the month of March, moon is in the morning it is in Pushya, then it is going into Ascendation. That is, moon is in Cancer. So from moon, the 12th Jupiter is, which is not good for moon. Moon and Jupiter 212, not good. All the planets are in the 8th house, 1st of March. All the planets, other than Ketu. So Ketu is ahead of moon. Jupiter is in one house later to moon, 12th house. And from Cancer, all the planets are in the 8th house. Mars, Venus, Mercury, Rahu, Sun, all. This cannot be a great month. If suppose you feel certain elated incident happens also, maybe somewhere something else also happens which is not very uplifting. So that's why March month requires lot of cautions and lot of slow treading. April, if you ask me, I have seen it is better. I'll talk that in the month of April. Yes, there is a Mars and Saturn conjunction in Pisces. Friction will be there, but much better than the month of March. So please, all my people, those who I'm reaching out to, please take care of this month. Your mental, physical well-being. Do not get caught up in a fight. Do not spend unnecessarily. Do not expect much from love. If something happens in a relationship, wait for the time to get better. Do not suddenly jump into conclusions. So all these things. So having said that, now I'll start with the ascendants, but understand that this is a very tricky Venus in Pisces that we are dealing with, and it is not a straightforward prediction. Definitely, please like and subscribe and share if you want to, if you feel that it's worth. But understand that I cannot sugarcoat and say now you will go into a Venus in Pisces, you will have astral travel. I cannot say all these things. Very few horoscopes are that elevated, or I cannot say you suddenly buy gold and tomorrow you will see something big is happening in your life. See, Venus in Pisces is good, but understand it is not an extremely good position for the mundane 3D level. It is a 5D thing. It is bhakti at its best, and over here Saturn is marring the things or even making it more predicament. It's creating like that. So understanding that, please jump into your ascendant wise analysis. I want to speak what is practical and what is needed to be told, rather than unnecessary, beating about the bush and colorful stories. So yeah. Look into the timestamps. Aries ascendant, this is happening in your 12th house, the conjunction, and the lunar eclipse is happening in your 5th house. Now see, Aries people, Venus is really your relationship planet, the 2nd and the 7th lord in the 12th house with Saturn. Definitely, I do not have to emphasize you more that if you are running a dasha of Venus, certain things can go from your life. Now, why it is even more emphasized? Because Ketu is there in your 5th house, love affair, spouse, progeny and all these things. And because the condition of Venus is not very great at this point of time, performing in the eclipse in the 11th house, then going into the 12th house, getting conjunct with Saturn. Pisces is a surrendering sound Rashi. All these things can give way if your relationship is not in a very strong ground. Now that is why this kind of transits, whenever a lunar eclipse is happening, and just before that day, this where Purva Falguni is ruled by Venus, where the lunar eclipse is happening in your 5th house and Venus enters the 12th house, it can definitely give a rise from the phoenix, and you become more aware of your relationship, how to deal with it, or exactly the opposite way, that if you have to go away from that relationship, you have to go away. It may happen that even because it is your 2nd lord, there is some kind of monetary expenses waiting for you. Though Mars and Rahu in the 11th house is quite supportive to give you gains and at least one desired fulfillment when the Lagna Lord has come into the 11th house with Rahu. So overall the picture is like 50-50, where if you take if you follow the way the planets are panning out, maybe you can escape a blunder. Why I say that? Because Saturn and Venus can give money from foreign lands. That also it can give. But relationship wise, Saturn, Venus, those people who have in their natal chart also, it is a very dry and money oriented relationship, very practical. If your relationship is like that, you can be awarded and rewarded for that. You can go with your partner to foreign lands and set up some business. Something of these type can also happen. You can get, because Jupiter is also getting direct and Mercury is getting retrograde in this process, there can be a zone of no communication. The Jupiter can try to mitigate, but understand that Jupiter going direct will take some time to make the things Punarvasu. Jupiter will be in direct in your third house, Punarvasu. So all these scenario points, as far as this transit of Venus in Pisces in the 12th house with Saturn goes, first it can, maybe you go for a vacation, that is your desire fulfillment. In the 11th house, your Lagna Lord sitting with Rahu. To foreign lands, you go with your wife and you spend a lot over there. So do not get too much carried away. That's why Venus in exaltation is too much hyped. But it is exactly not that a hype until and unless somebody has a very high level 5D kind of a horoscope scenario going on, where some greatest of realization can also happen in this kind of a transit when Venus is joining Saturn, because this is your 7th lord, the two Kendra lords, right? Or you can take the 2nd and the 11th lord going into the 12th house. So things can make and break, both ways it can go. Because the dasha is the main judgment factor over here. But nonetheless, I'll not term it as a horribly bad transit, but keep a very good watch on the relationships that you have, whether it is with your progeny, whether family members, with a spouse, whether the person you are dating or whatever. So keep a understanding of it and let this March month go, and then later, because even your Lagna Lord will go into conjunction with Saturn, any new beginning for Aries will only happen in the month of May. Before that, you need to be very skeptical in the things that you're doing, though the transit of Mars and Rahu in the 11th house is good actually. But this transit, keep a check on your expenses also. Thank you. Taurus ascendant, this is the Lagna Lord going into the 11th house with the 10th and 9th Lord. It is good for you actually, Taurus ascendant, though the eclipse is happening, the lunar eclipse in Purva Falguni is in your 4th house. Now this can easily mean that if you were stuck up with certain things regarding your homeland, motherland, real estate or something, you can give way for that. That can happen. Some kind of a selling, buying, anything, these can happen. Change or structural changes in your profession can also happen. Due to the profession, you may have to go to foreign lands. That can also happen. You may find a better job. That can also happen. These kind of transits, they promote that. Relationship wise, I do not prefer this combination of Venus and Saturn, to be very true. So I will not say it is a great time for relationship. Both are aspecting your 5th house, and some kind of a change within you will happen, because the 4th house is also the heart, the motherland, the mother. So take care of these areas also. You will go through a change, because 11th house is a good house for gainful things, but obviously when the Lagna Lord goes into Pisces is a very it is a sign which is totally dependent on the cosmic or the universal forces. There is no free will in Pisces, to be very true. Believe me, this is a fact I have realized all throughout my life. The free will, chances of free will are very, very less. So that is why whatever is happening at this point of time is divine destiny. Understand that first, Taurus ascendant, and then understanding that you cannot do away with that. You have to go with the destiny, because bits and pieces will make up the destiny that we are going towards. And this is a good transit, but still I would feel when Venus comes on the Lagna, you will get more clarity, because at least the eclipse will be over and Venus will come on the Lagna by the end of April or May month. I think end of April into Taurus. So at that time the clarity will be more, but nonetheless it's a good transit. So but keep a check on the love matters, because you can feel also a little materialistically cold at this point of time. That can also happen. You are more focused maybe on the monetary findings, on the because the 10th lord is conjunct there, and the 10th there is a Rahu and Mars conjunction also at the same time. So you can be little bit cold in your relationships, and because Mercury, the 5th lord, is going retrograde, there can be sometimes a zone of no communication also within the month of March. But all in all, it's a good transit for you, Taurus. Gemini ascendant, this is happening in your 10th house, where Saturn is already there. So see, this transit is supposed to be a very good transit, because the 5th lord and the 9th lord is conjunct in Kendra transit wise, and also it's a Malavya Mahapurush yoga for Venus also. But understanding this, one has to see that Saturn is, and the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, is happening in the 3rd house. So some kind of a decision is awaited regarding your 10th house matters, because the 9th house will propel you. The Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 9th house will give you in a very excited state, the state where you are restless. At this point, when 5th lord goes into the 10th house exalted, some kind of a promotion may also fall in your lap. But at the same time, it can take you to a different zone, because Jupiter will also go direct at this point of time. And your Lagna lord will go retrograde in the 9th house and will remain in the 9th house till 11th of April. Very big time of changes for you, Gemini ascendants. And especially if you're running, see, all the planets are accumulated now in the 9th house and the 10th house. The one planet, Dasha Pratyantar, you will be running, right? So this is whenever the 9th house planets are gearing up to move towards the 10th house, it will give you some breakthroughs definitely, which you had been maybe looking for, or if you had not been looking for also, you have to take up the thing. Free will in Pisces is very less. I always keep on telling this. Any planet which goes into Pisces, it is not under your control. If you exert free will, things will happen later which you have to give in more. Then better not to put your free will into it. It'll go bizarre. This is a very spiritual experience that I have had for a very long time, and I've understood Pisces very well. That's the reason. Anyway, but so that's why what is needful to be done, I will not call it a great transit, but it is a work oriented transit. Some things that were stuck will now start moving. And it can be, the feeling can be like too much responsibility, a little bothersome, because you are the spotlight, right? This is the 12 years of Jupiter returns on the Lagna. So Jupiter has to rectify the things that it wants to rectify. Nonetheless, you take care of your father's health, because the situation is not very good. Your relationship with your bosses and father, the decisions that you put in your professional life, maybe you get a height, a promotion or a monetary hike or whatever. But because Saturn is there with Venus, the 5th lord with 9th, with Saturn being Saturn, it may not give you the happiness or the jolly factor that you may be looking for, or you would have thought that would have happened to you. If you suppose you have an agenda of this job I want, you get it at this point of time, you get a hike, still you don't feel inside very lofty, that kind of a thing. But Kendra transits, these kind of transits where the 5th and 9th lord is involved in it, Obviously you have to understand that is the Saturn is the 8th lord and Venus is the 12th lord. That's why I'm saying some kind of change is definitely awaited at this point of time. Now whether it is with your motherland, whether quitting a job, going to another, changing some life patterns, your progeny can also, if you're elderly person, can go through a big change or overhaul a different kind of ball game altogether in the professional field. So all these things are definitely there. It's a big transit for you actually, this 1 month, this full 1 month. Okay, take care. Cancer ascendants, this is the conjunction of Venus and Saturn is happening in your 9th house. Now, Venus is your 4th and 11th lord, and Saturn is your 7th and 8th lord. Now, here what havoc they create, whenever, see, I have seen this in many Cancer ascendants horoscope. When these kind of combination happen, the person travels towards foreign lands, maybe for even with a spouse, they meet somebody in the foreign lands who will be a would-be spouse, but the relationship is very cold at this point of time, and it is nothing. If you have originally some kind of this kind of a combination, you can take up subjects which is related to finances, expenses, loans, insurance, all these things, and you may go to a foreign country for learning that. But if you are striking up some deals in the foreign lands also, these kind of things can help. Venus is your relationship in the networking planet. So here the networking can come through your networks, and also your spouse or your partner can also put in some effort from their end. It is a good transit, I'll not say bad, but 8th house Rahu and Mars is there, and that can bring sudden incidents in your life. That is how the 8th house is not always death and perish and you're gone and you are just over. It is not like that all the time. But 8th house brings in challenges which we were not ready for, because these are sudden, and a sudden change in scenario can be brought by your 10th lord in the 8th house with Rahu, but that suddenness can definitely happen from foreign lands. Now good and bad, how your dasha is and how you use it, because Jupiter is also in the 12th house. And in the month of March, the 1st of March, moon will be in Cancer from Pushya and then into Aslesha. So you see all the planets, if you take the horoscope, I'll put in over here the month of March, the moon is on the Lagna Swagrihi, and all the planets are in the 8th house, and Jupiter is in the 12th house, and Saturn is in the 9th house. So here what it shows is that all related to foreign affairs, foreign dealings, foreign learning, going to foreign places, maybe traveling with your spouse or your networks or something. You may be traveling in a group and going for some dharma pilgrimage. So these kind of things can the Venus Saturn combination is not bad anyway. It is okay, it's good. But the Rahu Mars combination over here, until and unless, especially Rahu and Mars, because Rahu is going retrograde and Mars is just entered and Rahu is moving retrograde, both will collide and then they go past each other. So that collision is massive from the 10th to 25th. After that, Mars and Rahu departs and they go in different direction. So 10th to 25th of March, one has to be very careful through the incidents they go in life, and it can be a make and break situations for some regarding the dasha that you're going through. That is definite. So health is also very important at this point of time. Take care of your health also, Cancer people. And otherwise, this Venus Saturn combination in the 9th house is not bad. It is not bad at all. But yes, there will be certain shifts. Definitely, and that is okay. Shifts are part of our existence, that is okay. But overall, the month of March is not very easy. April is easier than March, though yes, Mars and Saturn will have a combination in Pisces. Still, it is easier than the March month. Take care. Leo ascendants, this is the Venus and Saturn combination is happening in your 8th house. Your 10th lord and 3rd lord is combining with the 6th and the 7th lord. Now here, see, mainly I will take the 7th house and the 10th house, and 8th house is other people's money. So your profession can definitely go through some changes, as the eclipse is happening also on your Lagna in Purva Falguni, the lunar eclipse that is happening on the 3rd of March. Here you yourself can take some decision, can go through some changes, and you want those changes to happen. But one thing is that whenever the 8th lord goes through changes, yes, 8th house can bring in money, but there can be some delays also. Saturn, being Saturn, is not at all the planet which supports you, right? And it is a Daya. If you are a Leo moon, then definitely this can bring a very different scenario to your life. You know, you shift and you make the things happen knowingly that you need a shift. A shift is must at this point of time. If you follow the same routine regarding whatever you had been following in your career and your business, then the things will not happen. You will go through a shift, because from Purva Falguni, Venus is 8. The Purva Falguni Nakshatra being ruled by Venus, it is 8th, and the eclipse is happening there. It will give way now. Slowly, whatever things have been stuck on will start decluttering. But understand that you and your spouse also concoct some plan, towards foreign destinations, regarding some kind of change in your financial, hidden finances, which you do not tell to the world. 7th lord is Saturn with Venus, because Venus is natural Karaka Tattva of finances. You can concoct a plan and you can go. Those plans will be, actually that can very much happen for Leo ascendants. Mercury is also retrograde. Yes, Mercury, your 2nd and 11th lord, is retrograde. That can very much happen when Saturn and Venus goes into the 8th house. You do some investments which you had in your mind and now you are putting into action. This is a secret thing. You are not going out and shouting out to the world, right? But these kind of decisions are good. Just keep a good scenario with your spouse. That is very important for Leo. Don't bring out your ego over here, because Sun's condition is not good. It is first with Rahu, then it will go with Saturn. Flaring up of your ego will lead to nowhere. Sun is already in a very critical position in the 7th house, where it has lost its Digbal, and also in the 8th house, where it is in a death-like situation. Let Sun come into Aries. Your decisions you can put forward. As of now, it's a partnership time. You have to decide both. Some relationships which are bygones will be gone. Cannot be done much about it, because these kind of relationships, these kind of transits, they bring the unwanted relationships to an end. Pisces is surrender. Any planet in Pisces do not work according to our wish and will. No free will is involved in Pisces. It is totally surrender to the feet of Vishnu, and that is how Pisces work. If you go with the surrender, well and good. If you do not go, you will be brought to your knees in some way or the other, whether in this transit or some other transit, which is very much possible. So overall, it is a okay transit, 60% good, I will say. Monetarily, it can give, but Mercury is going through a retrograde phase. And once Mercury goes direct, and by the time Venus will move into the 9th house, the monetary factors will be even better. But here you will plan something regarding your finances. Some overseas finances can fall into your lap. Business growth can be good, usually related to foreign clients, and all these things can be seen. It is overall, it is a good transit, but keep care of your health definitely, because Sun is now not at all in a good position in the 7th house, and then when this Venus will be in Pisces, Sun also joins, though Venus is not getting combust this time. So that's why take care of your health, Leo people. Transit wise, it is a pressure giving transit. See, whenever there are too much planets in the 6th house, 7th house, and the 8th house, it will keep you in pressure. You are like the water has reached to this point. If the planets are in 9th house and 10th house and 11th house, you work, it gives result. I like that. That is the best position of, in the natal chart I'm talking, not even in transit. In transit also it gives result. But 9th, 10th, 11th is the most visible part of the horoscope. If you have planets more in the 3rd, 4th, 5th house, it will keep you in a little bit more comfortable zone. 2nd, 1st and 12th house, it is your growth. It is all about you. That way also you can judge your horoscope. So whatever, this is a okay transit. I'll take 50% good with this transit, but health care is most important for Leo people with Venus, Saturn, and some changes regarding your professional area and business decisions that you will be implementing and taking will happen. Take care. Virgo ascendants, Virgo people, this is happening in the 7th house, the Venus Saturn combination. So okay, Venus Saturn in the 7th house will give way to some kind of a relationship issues that may have been, you can first feel stuck, and once Venus touches Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada, things will give way to either maturity or collapse. Nothing in between at all. So here, this is how it will work, and now you have to go with it, or you have to decide what you can do. It is the 9th lord coming into the, it is your, from your fortune, something is brought towards your 7th house. It can be a relationship, it can be in from the Bhagya Dasha, it comes to you. Now whether it escalates your fortune or not, that's a different story. That the Dasha and your natal planets will say. But things can start over here, especially as Venus crosses into Pisces. You realize certain things with Saturn, your maturity increases. If your maturity does not increase, you have to give way to those things. Now understand that this Leo falls in your 12th house. There the lunar eclipse is happening. Certain things has to be abandoned. 12th house is a house, and it will come through divinity, and you will understand that now the karma with this is ending. I have to let it go, especially because it is a 7th house. I am talking about relationship. Now definitely it can be some finances with the relationship also, that can happen because Venus is your 2nd lord also. So maybe some business oriented thing, some business takes aside and then it goes to another thing or something like that. But depending on the dasha, if you're not running a Venus dasha or pratyanta or aranta dasha or something, then maybe nothing happens. A little bit here and there, the relationship may look cold, and because your Lagna Lord is also getting retrograde in the 6th house. Yeah, this is one thing about Virgo people, is that about Virgo ascendants, because Lagna Lord is going retrograde in the whole month of March. It will go retrograde and become direct in the 6th house. You are more involved with Rogrin Chatru. Jupiter is also in the 10th house going direct. So maybe you are unable to give time to a relationship and it doesn't fall into place. That can also simply happen. So all this, which area is more important? As of now, if you ask me, the 6th and the 10th house is more important than the 7th house and the 5th house. Right, so that is the thing. But at the same time, these things can also happen, that you gain more maturity in relationship wise, because the 5th lord is over here conjunct with the 9th lord. The combination is good. 5th and 9th combination in Kendra, Rajyog kind of a transit, and Malavya Mahapurush Yoga. Kendra, it is happening, Venus Saturn. So this is good actually, and Venus is exalted also. If you learn and if you want to go with the relationship, it can be a great phase, because then Jupiter goes into the 11th house. It can culminate into a marriage also. But then do not try to hold it. Anything in Pisces requires free hand. You cannot hold it without the will and wish of the Almighty. So surrender it and just see what happens as things go by. Okay, so this is a very complicated month of March, and why I have told before in my video, a lot of planets are doing a lot of things, and that's why take it with calmness and move ahead. And obviously, if you are not a calm person, you cannot wait. Some people tell me, I'm not calm, I take very fast decision. Now obviously you take, what are the repercussions? It is how you deal with it, right? Everybody will not be calm, everybody will not be sorted. That is how life is. The energy level varies from one person to another. That is very important. So take care, Virgo ascendants. Otherwise, transit wise is not a bad transit at all. It is okay to good transit. Yeah. Ascendants, the Lagna Lord is in conjunction with Saturn in the 6th house now. One thing about the 6th house, first thing is that when we call this Venus is going exalted, yes, it is in Pisces, but understand one thing. First, we have to consider the house and then the Rashi. Rashi comes in with the flavor. First is the house. So Lagna Lord in the 6th house with Saturn, you can understand you will be going through a little bit patch where you can get recognition, because Mars and Rahu is in your 5th house. But obviously some kind of a work related issue can definitely happen at this point of time. And such an issue, because this is the 5th lord and the Lagna lord, the conjunction is happening in the 6th house, and the lunar eclipse exactly after Venus comes into Pisces on the 3rd of March is happening in your 11th house. So certain relationships also, networking things also can come into clarity, which can give way to new things. Maybe some certain things can die down. Because this lunar eclipse happening in your 11th house is aspected, it is with Ketu, the moon is with Ketu, and moon is your 10th lord. 10th lord is with Ketu in the 11th house. So you can understand the profession can go through some kind of changes, which is very out of the blue. I'll not call sudden. Pisces is not a sudden Rashi. The flavor is the 6th house. Here you're working towards your goal. Your daily life is taking place. But maybe you're expecting certain things out of this may not happen the way you're expecting. It can take a different turn. So you have to go with the thing, because in Pisces Rashi there the free will is very limited and we do not have much free will. So if any step required to be taken, you are going to a different thing, you are moving with a lot of hard work, pressure, all these things can happen. March month is not an easy month actually. April is little bit better than March, and May month is even better. So that's why this month it has to be taken care. Now what are the things? It is your health. That is very utmost important. Lagna Lord in the 6th house with Saturn. Certain health issues can happen. Just you can feel little weak and not very up to the optimal energy level. Your progeny can go to examination or these kind of things, or going through a little bit of tough time. You can, if you're a student, you can be preparing for competitive things and you're little skeptical about it, or you're working very hard for it, all these things. And if you are planning to give into a change of job, immediately it will not happen. Maybe your mind and focus is totally into that, but it will only happen when this Jupiter will go direct, because Jupiter is now coming into your 10th house. So, and because it is in Gemini, Mercury, one of your Trikon Lord, the 9th Lord, is getting retrograde also in the month of March. So overall, this Venus Saturn can make you feel a little stuck. I do not like Venus in the 6th house, to be very precise. Because 6th house Venus can deal with Rogrin Shatru, but not in a very optimal way. Because this is not the place of Venus. And that's why, because Mercury, the 9th fortune lord, is going through a retrogression when the Lagna lord in the 6th, there can be very well scenario where you're stuck up. But understand, Mercury will go retrograde, you will go through the change. It can be foreign clients. Pisces is a foreign Rashi. The money can flow from far off land. or a change you have to go to move or transfer or change of networking, because the 11th house eclipse, a change of networking groups and all these things can happen because it is happening in Purva Falguni, the lunar eclipse on 3rd of March, and Venus, the lord of Purva Falguni, is 8th from itself. So you are going a change overall which is awaited. A little bit tricky position, Libra people, actually I'll say, with this Venus Saturn combination. Though Saturn is your very favorable lord, but 6 Saturn makes you work hard or 3 times to give a thing. Once Venus moves into Aries and aspecting the Lagna, that transit is much better, especially if you are running a Venus Dasha, Antardasha, whatever. So at this point of time, developments can happen, but you have to pursue it if you pursue it also, it may not happen at your wanted time, because that is how Pisces works. Relationship should be taken care of, definitely. Here it is a 5th lord and the Lagna lord in the 6th. You can be fighting and bickering with your dating partner. That can happen. You want to come to a solution through the through a mitigation, through a court deal or anything, or you're going through some kind of a separation already. These things can definitely happen. So if that reaches a conclusion or not, maybe not immediately, because Saturn little bit delays the thing, but because the eclipse will happen, definitely some solution comes in the 1 month time, that is in the month of March. Some kind of a change is awaited for all the ascendants, for you also, and because it is happening in Purva Falguni, which is ruled by Venus, and your Lagna lord is in the 8th house now in exaltation, it will go through a change definitely, and the change will be completed only by April, and maybe by April. From May month, you see what the change has already shaped up into. So that is the whole scenario, Libra. It's a okay kind of a transit. Take care. Scorpio, it is the 7th lord and the 12th lord coming into the 5th house and with Saturn. Here the condition of Venus with Saturn, which is a 3rd lord. See, these kind of things, 5th house related matters can look a very, out of control. It can feel like that. It can feel that you need the divine grace to intervene. Because Scorpio people are having a two-timer problem. I'll tell you how. Ketu in the 10th house gives lot of issues with the workplace. Now, if you have a very stable workplace also, there will be lot of sudden things happening. On top of that, the 5th house and the 9th house is great houses in the horoscope, which is occupied by Saturn. Till now, Jupiter is in the 8th. Jupiter has to come into the 9th house to make you feel a little bit relieved. Over here, now Saturn is having a conjunction with the 7th lord and the 12th lord Venus. Now, first and foremost, your relationships can go suddenly cold. Mercury is going retrograde. There can be a non-communication zone. Your progeny can test your patience, and you may feel that it is not now up to you, it is in the hands of the god what happens, because surrender is the theme of Pisces. Whatever 5th house related things, and also your investments, the 5th house, your foreign investments, or maybe the stock market investment and all these things. So all these things at this point is a little in a shaky manner. Because Mars is also in a very excited state with Rahu. When these kind of conjunctions happen in the Kendra, the whole horoscope is in a very high level of vibration, and you just do not know where to put your attention towards. That is the problem at this moment for Scorpio people. The best solution is because Pisces is after all surrendering, your softer things like your progeny, planning a progeny, your affairs, or getting involved with somebody, all these things are divine destined. And with Pisces, things are totally not in your hand. There is no chance of free will in Pisces, because Pisces is originally the 12th house of the zodiac. That's why wait for things to turn into place. If you communicate it now, it will be a miscommunication with Mercury going retrograde. Exact dates, I think by the 10th or earlier, maybe March month. Lot of the time Mercury will be retrograde in the month of March. Only I think 26th or 25th of March it will go direct. There are so many dates, I am getting confused with the direct Mercury, but take it like that, at least I mean 20 days Mercury will be retrograde in your fourth house, Aquarius. So that's why communication can not give you a solution at this moment of time. And Mercury is with Rahu. It will be you will be saying something, your intention will be something, you'll put it in some way, because Mars is also there. Mars, Rahu, Mercury together in Aquarius. So understanding all these things, you have to, if you are studying, if you are a student, then you can feel that you can hop and jump about into things, because putting your concentration at this moment into a particular thing can feel very difficult. It can feel like that. Understanding that you have to be a little drawn back from majority of things and concentrate, try to do that. Otherwise this March month can go simply waste for you. You may go into different things and nothing will work. That is how the energy is, very chaotic energy. And that's the reason, because fourth house, too many planets over there, especially Mars and Rahu, we don't want in the fourth house. Family situation can be difficult. With your love affairs progeny, things can turn out a little sour. If it is going down south and you want to maintain it, best thing is keep quiet about it now. Focus your things into maybe reading, studying, education, something else. Your progeny can go towards a foreign related course, that can happen very much, or going to a different place and staying all by themselves, that can also happen, can getting separated from you and your family. All these things are there. It's a okay kind of a transit, nothing great about it, but just the month of March is like that. It is confusion, chaos, lot of incidents happening, one day good, one day bad. It is like that. So we have to go through this. Let's see what April is a little bit better than March, and I feel May month is much better than these. So take care, Scorpio. Sagittarius, this is like the fourth house having Saturn and Venus. Now the sixth lord and the third lord coming into the fourth house, you are putting in effort. Regarding what? It can be real estate, education, your home, your family, mother's health is not good, your relationship, because Venus is not a great planet for you, as you know that. So your relationship at the home front can feel a little not that great, but third house energy is good. Go with the third house energy. A shift and transfer can definitely happen for many Sagittarius, and that had been a theme for quite long time for Sagittarius. Many Sagittarius people I am seeing are going through a change, and especially that happens when Saturn comes in the fourth house. You have to leave your comfort zone and somewhere you're going, and and the main even fructify when the smaller planets, they join over them. So that can very much happen, but mother's health is also to be taken care of. You can get at this point of time, or when Jupiter gets direct, you can apply for coming to the country or going out of the country. Many people, because it is Saturn, I am saying it will be going out of the country and getting some other country's visa and all these things. These things are favored over here. If you want to take a loan and get a real estate or a car, that can very much happen at this point of time. It may happen. Be careful with the loan you're taking, because sometimes what happens, the third house with the Mars Rahu combination over there with Mercury can make you feel suddenly very energetic in certain things. Let me do, and the decisions may be quick and all this. So wait for this Mercury retrograde to go direct. I'll put it in that way, and wait for the conjunction of Mars and Rahu to happen, and then they part ways from 25th of March. So wait till that date. Whatever decisions, it will be done, those decisions will be carried out, that's okay, but take a good time and then carry out the decisions, because third house, it's so vibrating, and third house is not a sit back house. It is like, I want to take action. I have taken some decisions, I want to go with it. And Jupiter will also go direct. So obviously new things will start happening for you towards the second half of this month, and which is good also. It is not a bad transit. But just the thing is that because Saturn and Venus is not a great planet for you, whatever you are doing, do not go overboard. Expenses should not cross your limit. Pisces is the sign of expenses. It is your fourth house. Sagittarius people are always giver to their family, and I have seen that. Now they have a highest dedication for their parents, that is good, or their family members or whatever. That is how Sagittarius is, right? Jupiter is a very society norm kind of a planet, but they give more than they get, and that is how the Pisces sign is. That is why it is your fourth house. You give more and you do not expect. That is good. That is where the spirituality begins, that how we give more and expect less. But to keep your security good with Saturn, Venus and Pisces, it can incur great expenses also sometimes. So be wary of that. Take care of your health also, and loans and whatever you're applying for can take a little bit of time, but it will be given to you. And Jupiter is going direct. So there are few months of this March, April, May, 3 months where Jupiter is direct in the 7th house. Some marriage related things can also happen at your front, because after that Jupiter goes in the 8th house. That's a total change that you will go. As of now, it is a good transit that you're having. Actually, nothing much to bother about for Sagittarius people. On ascendants, this conjunction of Venus and Saturn is happening in your third house. Third house, your 10th lord and the Lagna lord. If you are looking for a change, some kind of change is definitely coming up, and it can be a change of place, like a city change, that can very well happen. And if you are running the right dasha, or you can feel a little stuck up with Saturn Venus combination happening, but you see the eclipse is happening in the 8th house. The lunar eclipse is happening in Purva Falguni in the 8th house. And so that's why this eclipse, Venus is 8th from your 8th house. So obviously there is some kind of change brewing up at this point of time, and March month is a month of big changes also, which sometimes can just appear out of the blue, and it can just appear to you. You have to take a decision which is prudent, which I feel, because Venus is your 5th lord also, it can be related to your progeny also. It can be a make and break for your love affairs also. And these things can very well happen. One thing is that when this month of March is starting, which I always do, the starting day moon is in your 7th house. So 7th house and all the planets, Jupiter is in the 6th house for you. All the planets will be in the 2nd house, and then Lagna Lord and Venus is in the 3rd house. So what is happening is affecting you through the other people. So this is some kind of a thing that can give way to changes, definitely. But understand, Ketu being in the 8th house and the moon now conjunct with Ketu in Purva Falguni in Leo, in this lunar eclipse can give you certain things which are, you have to contemplate into deep thoughts and then take a decision, because Saturn, whenever it is in the 3rd house, the decision makings are not very fast. And it should not be also. Saturn is not the planet for the 3rd house, it is Mercury. But obviously Mercury is also retrograde this March. That's why your travel, if you are traveling, it can see changes, or be very careful, because Mercury retrograde and travel is always associated with some kind of a forgetting things, and all these things can happen. If you are going to a distance journey, then also it can, it can be giving into expenses. Or because the 2nd house has Mars and Rahu, you leave your family and you go to a different settlement. That can happen, but speech should be very, very, measured at this point of time, because you will go through a psychological change with the lunar eclipse happening in the 8th house. 8th house and moon, where the eclipse is happening on the 3rd of March. We do not usually like moon in the 8th house and in an eclipse. But yes, if certain relationships has to go, it'll go, and it is better to go actually. But if you want to stick by it, then you have to be very careful during these kind of months actually. Otherwise, it can be a make and break. 8th house matters can suddenly give way, and because Mars is also aspecting this 8th house, so it is a okay transit. Yes, if you are asking if monetarily, financially, that can be good. If you are in age, that group that you have been putting effort, now your efforts are getting realized, and now Venus, your 10th lord and the Lagna lord, is in conjunction with the 3rd house. You're going out for interviews and all this. 2nd house, you have Mars and Rahu, it can bring in money, and all these things can happen. But a change in this month of March is inevitable, no doubt, and the change just can show up itself, and you have to, you have to get accustomed with the change, or you have to deal with it. That kind of a situation, Capricorn ascendants. So take care. It's not a bad transit, but changes are changes. We have to go along with it. Yeah. Aquarius people, it is the 2nd house, Venus and Saturn, your Lagna lord, and the 9th lord is over here in the 2nd house. This is a financial transit, obviously, but obviously, because see, it is a relationship based transit also, because Venus is relationship, and the 7th house is seeing a lunar eclipse in Purva Falguni, ruled by Venus. Ketu moon will be forming an eclipse in the 3rd of March, and this whole month of March you will have Mars and Rahu on the Lagna. So you can understand, Ketu in the 7th house, and eclipse is forming. Mars is aspecting the 7th house, and Venus, the best lord that you have, the best yoga karak planet, is 8th from the 7th house, from its own nakshatra Purva Falguni. If relationships has to go, it will grow, or if it has to move away, it will move away. Now this scenario is how maturely you handle it. Why I am telling you? Because the Lagna lord is in Saturn in conjunction with Venus. Now Venus is your Bhagya lord also. Here some decisions regarding your monetary things can also happen, maybe with the partner also, because Sun also joins this conjunction immediately. Sun and Saturn, Lagna lord and 7th lord, will have a conjunction in the same month of March 15th onwards. So lot of changes now, Aquarius, but be mindful that Mercury is retrograde on the Lagna, and it is playing tricks with Rahu. I cannot just miss that Mercury with Rahu conjunction and Mercury going retrograde. So if you are thinking, suppose you are taking right decisions, maybe it is not right. That is how Mercury plays with Rahu. It makes you feel super overconfident. But if you are searching for a job, the job can come to you, because Mars is coming on the Lagna. Jupiter, your 2nd and the 11th lord, is getting direct. It is aspecting Mars, and in the 2nd house you have the Lagna lord and the fortune lord. Maybe you have to go a little far away from the home to get a job. That can very well happen. So these scenarios will happen. These are the different scenarios. Now what is good for you, bad for you, the dasha will give that kind of a result. But these scenarios are definitely there, the focus of this month. And this month is a very topsy-turvy month. One day is great, one day is not feeling great. That kind of a thing. April is better, May is even better months ahead, clarity wise, health wise, because that is also a thing. You have Mars and Rahu on the Lagna. So take care of your health also. Too much agitation, too much feeling, I have to do something, that kind of a thing. That kind of thing happens when Mars and Rahu is on the Lagna, sitting on your head. But whether it is important to understand that they are pushing you, but where you are landing, That is very important. So Aquarius, it is a very important month for you. Your relationship, your profession, your home, apart home, you going away for monetary factors, all these things, lot of things are there. And the fifth lord is sitting on the Lagna. With your progeny related things can also come to your mind at this point of time. Financial related thing, your savings, what can you save more? You can feel that you're at wit's end sometimes. These things happen. Or money can flow in also from foreign destinations, or your investment or something. Or if you're more focused and calculative, because Venus Saturn combination in the second house, no? So in the second house, it is original the Taurus house, the place of Venus. Venus is good over here. But what happens is that Pisces is, because it is a sign of expenses. Sometimes you can feel, it can be just a feeling, my expenses are more than whatever I have been able to, accumulate. So overall, it's not a bad transit, but these are the things that you will be feeling, a mixture of lot of things. But relationship can be the focus, or the other people, business, your business partnership, because the 7th house eclipse will directly have an effect on you, how you are getting treated by the people that you go in for a relationship, that kind of thing. So it's a big month of lot of activity for you, Aquarius people. So see how March pans out for you. Yeah. For Pisces, now the Pisces season has begun officially. Venus entering into Pisces, Sun will enter, then Mars will enter, then Mercury will enter. Now we had the Capricorn season, now we are having the Aquarius, now the Pisces season is beginning with Venus entering into Pisces. Saturn is already there. Now Venus is the 3rd and the 8th lord. You are preparing for a journey, maybe for work, sudden you feel. Mercury is retrograde with Rahu Mars in the 12th house. 12th house is unknown, and you are concocting something which you do not know when it will come into fruition. It can be as simple as, because this lunar eclipse is happening in your 6th house, you want to change your regular day scenario, maybe work scenario, maybe your health scenario. Maybe if you have a loan, you want to waive it off. That can also happen. But this is what is in your mind with the eclipse, lunar eclipse happening on 3rd of March in the 6th house. But obviously, Rahu Mars Mercury is not a great combination in the 12th house, and Venus 8th lord on the Lagna with the 11th lord. Do not get into sudden decisions. At this point, very important, conserve your health. Health and wealth. Both health and wealth, these are the two main things for Pisces actually. Jupiter is retrograde, that's why even more. Once Jupiter gets direct and Mercury also gets direct, the clarity in this March month will come, because April will bring a new scenario with Mars reaching Saturn on the Lagna. As I said, your Pisces season has begun. Wherever Pisces is, it's your Lagna. For other ascendants, wherever it is, that is the theme now. That is the theme simply. So take care of your health, your decisions, your wealth, where you want to go, where it is taking you, change of place, change of motherland, changing to a foreign country, living over there. Do not get acquainted with unnecessary people. Certain things can go from your life. Venus is the 8th lord, no? There is a change. There definitely will be a small change or big change, depends on which dasha you are running. A change in your way of thinking. 8th lord is a terrific lord. Wherever it goes, it wants to bring some change. Something it wants to end and it wants to bring. Now what Venus is like, monetary things. Venus, the Karaka Tattva of Venus we have to take. For you, it can be your in-laws also. You are going into a marriage. Many Pisces people are already getting married. It is. Because Kendra, Jupiter, Saturn will always bring these kind of things. It will bring. And your change of perspective, change of shift of perspective, understanding what to do now is good. but it will become better when Jupiter comes into exaltation and will be aspecting your Lagna where Saturn is. Do not be in a hurry. Saturn does not give things in a hurry, and if you hurry, you will falter much, because Rahu, Mars and Mercury in the 12th house, I have seen people doing mistakes again and again. Mercury is a trickstar. With Rahu, it is it's a prince, it's a small. Mercury is intelligent, but it is not experienced and intellectual. A child, when you see, is very intelligent, but it need not have the experience that is needed. And Rahu, that's why propels this Mercury to do unnecessary things. And in between Mercury with Rahu and Mars, fighting like a fire and wind and fire, Mercury gets confused. So the decisions can go wrong. Do not just wait now. Yes, your season is beginning. Let the transformation happen in the month of March, and then slowly take the decisions. Let the things clear out. I want the 12th house to clear off. 12th house is very unknown. You are unable to see over there. That is the biggest problem with 12th house. Yes, no, Pisces, being an ascendant, you are spiritual. You know that most of the things are not in your free will. It is divine destined. Yeah, that is true. So let things pan out and be a little slow in the month of March. It's a very up and down month with each day showing a new color. That's the thing. Otherwise, a lot of things are in store for you. And but still, I believe March, April is the thing that will slowly give clarity, and May is a better month to go towards. And June, obviously, when Jupiter goes into the 5th house, directing your Lagna. Aspecting your Lagna, the 9th house. Yeah. So something related to the 6th house will happen. That is the clarity that is being driven towards now. Your health, your Rog, Rin, Shatru, because the lunar eclipse is happening over there as of now. So take care, Pisces people, and I'll come surely with the next video. Let's see when and what is the topic next. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Good night. Have a good day.